Tonight on Hipstar Tonight, now available on iTunes. Purchases now online at hipstar.ca. The original 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK.com. Please send your contributions to the Heart and Soul Foundation. It is tonight on Hipstar Tonight.
Nothing better than a Thursday, June 22nd.
2017. Not to constantly rib on Comic-Cons. You know, I hate to do that, though. No one likes it when I bring this up, but I really just end up saying they're good for nothing, don't I? But how do they benefit wrestling? Well, that one's obvious. They support a little mini comeback for the older names that might have did something back in the day and nobody's heard of them since. You know, the Tony Schiavones. Even old writers you didn't even know before, but you do now based on kayfabe commentaries running out of ideas. Some of the cheese internet promo packages they make in these cons, like the Glacier comeback. Jeez! How can they look back on a memory and claim they put a lot of time and effort and had big visions for a gimmick that at the time clearly just gave off the impression they were all just laughing at him? No one took the Mortis Glacier gimmick seriously. Maybe I did it when I was 8. But I mean, fuck, for him to come back and do like, oh, I'm going to come back, it's great to be back, here I am, but I'm shitting on him. When this is the sponsor.
The great thing about the Glacier gimmick is that anybody can do it. I don't think it's the original Glacier. They can just get any indie worker to dress up in that costume.
You think so?
You know?
You think it's somebody else, really?
Who's going to sue them? Like, nobody wants to take claim that they were Glacier.
Well, some guys do if you've been hiding for a bit.
Well,
I never thought of it like that.
Guys off like Raven who never get a Comic-Con booking and they're booking Glacier over Raven.
Yeah.
Like, Raven is really needing some money right now.
Well, I'm sure. Well, actually, that's how the kayfabe commentaries gets their shit booked. They go to some of these WrestleCons and comic conventions, and they rent out a meeting room. They get these workers that are also making these Comic-Con appearances. So maybe Raven is, but in like Norfolk, Massachusetts, and we don't even know about it. Maybe. The Massachusetts
Which is another
con.
thing that I don't understand nowadays is that every worker has a podcast. So when somebody like Kayfabe Commentaries rents out a meeting room to do these shoot interviews, like can't the workers just do them themselves? Like the workers are now running podcasts. We don't need that market anymore. There's no more shoot interviews. You go to their podcast to hear what they have to say.
Well, even for a setup like that, a podcast can be pretty simple if you, of course, like anything, if you know what you're doing. That's the thing about these old guys doing the podcast is they're still prima donnas. Oh, I need my producer. I can't do it without my producer by me. Or maybe they turn on their phone and it's that easy for them. But they're still not working for it. They're still not doing post-production and reviewing their shit and promoting it themselves. They all think they need a producer. So I think the lazy asses all doing shows.
Jake Roberts has his son-in-law produce his show.
Oh, really?
Which isn't even, it's not even his son-in-law. It's like the one of his daughter's boyfriends who she didn't grow up with him in his life and just came back. It was like recently moved in with him in Vegas and has like the son-in-law, which is just a boyfriend.
Oh, well, that's
produce
nice.
the show. But I think that, one thing I don't like about Jake Roberts is like it's either his equipment but you can't hear the show. Like he's very like I don't know if it's years of drug abuse, but I can't understand. He just kind of mumbles his way through it, like what Bobby Bass does. Just like Jake Roberts show.
In 1986, Stewie went up to North County.
Yes,
it's true. You can never get away with Marty Jannetty doing a podcast. These guys who think they used to do promos, but of 30, 60 seconds worth, where then they would make such an effort to articulate. But as people, they're just like, they hit their heads and they're slurring every word, and we don't want to listen to these southern jackjaw hippies just talking about how they were like independent stars and stars on the TV. We don't need that anymore. We need good reviewers. Guys who are just in touch with the world and just want to make it better. Not these old guys talking about the old times. I don't know, maybe I'm just sick of it because it's so oversaturated, right?
I don't think they have anything to talk about. I think that with now that we have the internet where they didn't have that before.
Yeah.
We can get our information from anywhere. I can watch their match on YouTube. I don't have to have pay-per-view anymore. I don't have to have iPay-per-view. I can just watch it free.
I don't have to listen to them talk about it. Yeah.
They can't report on the news and they can't break kayfabe anymore. Like kayfabe is broken already. All they can tell about is their stories about addiction or Andre the Giant stories.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because we don't know about Andre the Giant enough.
Look, we need to talk about him more, because it's a good thing he never lived to the point where he had his own podcast, because we'd be making fun of him the same way. Andre, it's like a giant. That'd be a terrible podcast.
Stories. Andre drank 108 beers in one sitting. Like, I don't even care, I don't think. Like, I don't fucking care.
It's all history, all right? As long as we can retell it, talk about the purpose, then that's fine. Let's leave it in history. All right, let's move on and make something ourselves with our hands from scratch.
You know, I'm really starting to, in this day and age of watching WWE and, you know, the 205 and all the modern day things going on, all our friends are getting jobs except us. You know, I'm really starting to lose respect for the tradition of wrestling. Like, I don't think we need it anymore.
No.
I don't think we need the old timers and the old holds and the old ways of doing business. And, you know, somebody brought it up to me the other day that even going to Japan is different than what it was back in the day.
Yeah, of course it is.
You know?
Yeah.
They had Wi-Fi here and shit. Now you can contact. They didn't even know how to talk to anybody back in the day. So don't give me these excuses.
Cultures and countries
because you go to Japan, you're better.
It's true. If you visit there after a couple months, and then I went to Mexico, and I went to Puerto Rico, and I got stabbed.
Yeah.
You know, nobody cares. And it's true. No. You got those cultures, but why didn't you stay? Why are you back here? Why are you still talking like, well, I did this, that's why my rate's 200 now. But why? Why just go out there and stay there? Try something new. But people get so sucked up here. And I hate to see them become victims, you know?
Everybody's a fucking pussy now. And, you know, one thing my trainer never handed to me was a tape of WrestleMania 2 Coliseum video, Hogan and Bundy main event.
Classic.
My trainer never handed me that and told me to watch this. That's why I know I don't need legendary wrestling. It's just garbage.
Spending so much money on old workers' old VHS tapes where some dirty old-fashioned porn would be mixed in. I don't need this. I paid so much for what? VHS tapes? Are you serious? No. What's content like now? What's getting viral? How is things changing? You know, we can talk about like how shitty it is now, but it's not going to go back to those ways. So I have to learn.
Let me ask you
I have to understand what a Bitcoin is.
You were at NXT at this point, and they told you to go work a match with Austin Aries, and you're in the locker room. Are you going to go up to him and talk about the avalanche? Are you seeing King Kong Bundy do? Or are you going to talk about the tomahawk chop that Tonka did? Or are you going to talk about the sleeper hold Brutus Beefcake put on?
Yeah.
Because he's going to fucking think you're an asshole. That's not how we do business anymore.
And
any trainer that tells you to watch this shit is lying.
Some of these guys still use them as terms for referencing. For like, I'll go to the top and give you the big steamboat chop. Then I'll go Michaels, and then I'll take Jericho. And then you go and you Helmsley, and then I will duck that and give you a Brutus Beefcake.
I know your mentor Jim Cornette is very upset about the super kick.
Yes.
Is not used as a finish anymore, and he's very upset to these young boys like Chuck Taylor who fucked up the finish of a super kick and just use it for just any spot in the match now.
Yeah. Just do
anything, and that's a wrestling traditionalist telling us that we're doing it wrong. So what am I supposed to do as a young boy? Who am I supposed to believe?
He shits on something looking fake and trying new comedic ideas via the influence of Buster Keaton's and Charlie Chaplin's and shit like that, and he shits on that. We would never get away with that. And he also shits on movie gimmicks, how he hated how Omega was like a movie star, and he started imitating like the cinematic shit that was currently in pop culture at the time. He shits on that, but yet he was doing like Midnight Cowboy gimmicks, and he was ripping off fucking movies of his time. So I mean, they're all fucking just big hypocrites, man. They yell.
There's a man that used to run around the ring with a tennis racket.
Right? That didn't even ever make sense to me either. Maybe it's because I'm not.
It doesn't me either.
Maybe it's because I'm not that advanced and not that cultured and cool. But maybe
if I wear giant glasses, it'll get me more heat because I just look ridiculous.
I'll tell you, I used to get the heat. Let me tell you what. Not like these pussies that come out and want to do it today. I will fight you, motherfucker. I will fight you because I'm an old man.
And the thing is, he really wants to get over that he had a scaffold match 20 years ago. That's all you hear about.
Yeah.
Is his bump from the scaffold. Like, fuck, buddy. Like, or his drive-through, fucking through the drive-through. He's like, I am so sick of this
holding
shit.
on to those memories,
fuck off.
Those moments, those stories that too many people asked you to repeat and you gave into it. Those are your proudest moments, and then becomes like banana phone, monkey phone, telephone in your own brain.
Every college radio show is called The Experience, like the J Moore Experience.
Yeah, right?
The Zach Atticus Experience is like such a college thing that you're calling the Jim Cornette Experience.
We just tell old stories. Yeah, this one time I got really high, I went out and had an experience, man. Let me tell you what. That's not a fucking...
Let me have Memphis' own Kenny Bolin on for a little more heat on the show.
Yeah. It's just fucking name drop. And I know my friends are listening, and let me tell you, fuck you. And I like now how he becomes... So he's known for his threats, and that's his gimmick now. That now when he's working an angle... with the Midnight Express, like he's currently doing right now. I don't know why. Yeah. He threatens them. He calls them, I will choke you out. And speaking of people I want to strangle and commit murder against, that's how he talks about his angles now.
Jim knows how to hook the fans in. He knows how to get that last few minutes of ratings, or you can't leave because the audience will be like, ooh, who does he want to strangle? And then you find out it's just Austin Idol at the fairgrounds in Louisville.
Sick, gross, angry North Americans that just think murder is hilarious. Right. Shame on you. Yeah. Shame on you for listening to this. And I listen to it out of spite, okay? And I listen to it to know what's wrong with it. But I don't give into it.
It makes me wonder if Jim's a racist or not. Yeah, I get that impression, but I don't want to put it out there that he is, but doesn't he seem like that kind of guy?
It's like he is, but he's still almost up to date with the world, where he knows he needs a liberal side taking over, and especially if he's going to be a broadcaster, because otherwise he's just going to be shit on if he exposes his gross redneck side that believes I gotta lock people up. I'm gonna lock them up in my garage. And he's that kind of guy.
A lot of research.
It's a thing we got on 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK.com. It's we want to go in his garage. We want to get a warrant for checking to see what's in there and making
Cornet collectibles.
we want to take a peek. So if you'll sign this petition on change.org, brought to you by 1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK, we just want to get this over with and get this off our minds, because it's something we need to clear for the sake of our own souls too, right? Just want to know if he's a good guy.
No, I don't think so, man. I don't even think he's a genius. Like, I think he knows a lot about wrestling, but I think at the age that he is, being 67, that maybe it's a little dangerous just to know a lot about wrestling and nothing about anything else.
Yeah, right? And that's all you know is that a business, sure, but a business in marketing of one little niche that is getting less and less popularity as the days go by.
That's what's going to happen to Screech. I mean, sure, he could tell me about the history of the NWA and all its presidents, but you can't tell me how to pay your taxes.
So what use is it? I still don't have those street smarts. I'd never survive in an underground poker game. I'd fucking get stabbed. Who am I kidding? Shit. This is a time where we reconsider things, and we really maybe plan like a plan B, C, or D. Have some backups. Just have something to rely on, because this kink of my neck and this fucking boulder of cement in the back of my head, that's not for good use. Let's leave our performance art on the side and just worry about our responsible lives in the meantime. All right? Tonight on Hipstar Today.
Don't know show.
What a fucking mark. He's texting me a bunch, and he called a bit, but
it's not gonna matter. You took 2 bumps over the weekend, so.
But I took 2 shows of
2 matches. I mean,
2 bumps.
1-800-NEED-A-GIMMICK.
I got mice.
And I just went with what I was taught in the business. So I was working at Rough Wrestling at the Knights of Columbus, and all this guy did was drink and do pig roasts, and really I was just kind of on my own.
Yeah.
He just kind of... I remember like a big special for a Sunday would be... a ticket would be a pig roast special with the wrestlers, and you got a show in the afternoon. So
$10 gets you a wrestling show and a pig sandwich.
Sunday. Come on down to the Knights of Columbus. It's Wrestling Day.
Wrestling and Pig Day.
Yeah. Sponsored by Country Quarters.
Please wipe your hands before you get in the ring.
Yeah, and I heard somebody was telling me that one day Country Corners came in as his sponsor to serve the meat, and there was flies and shit all over it.
Oh,
oh yeah. People showed up to the show, and the doors were locked, and nobody was there. There may have been a poster on the door, but